Hello, welcome again to another session on KDR TV. Today we are privileged to have two gentlemen. One is an Azimio supporter, the other one is a Kenya Kwanza supporter. Both of them have been supporting their coalitions or parties from the onset when these parties were formed. And to extend a little bit more, these gentlemen have actually been doing a wonderful job in ensuring that their coalition parties' agenda is sold not only to the public in Kenya, but also in diaspora. So today we've got two gentlemen. One is called Bwana Morris Ndole, who lives in California, and the other gentleman is called Bwana Sam Ireri, who lives in Minnesota. So briefly, I'll be bringing them on board so that they will tell Kenyans across the globe why each of them is supporting, let me not call it a faction, but each of them, why they actually are supporting various parties across the board. So let me introduce the two gentlemen. Bwana Sam Ireri, welcome to KDR TV session.
Thank you very much, Bwana Kivuato. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. What about Bwana Ndole Morris?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. So are you really guys ready for this, or you are a little bit not ready for this particular interview session?
Well, we are ready for a good conversation.
You are ready for a good conversation. I believe you guys
are really...
Yeah, go ahead, Bwana Sam.
And I think that's why diaspora, we have decorum and all that. So I'm ready to talk to Mr. Ndole, and it's a pleasure actually to meet him too, although on camera right now. But I hope we can also get to meet live in person and discuss more.
That is wonderful.
Absolutely.
So I hope Bwana Ndole, you also got an opportunity to talk to Bwana Sam in the back side or in the back end, whereby you at least knew each other. So before we continue with the conversation, at least each of you know each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, wonderful. How is California? First of all, how is California, Bwana Ndole?
California is fine. We are enjoying the summer heat. And today is 4th of July, so happy 4th of July to all of you guys across the United States. Happy 4th of July to you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Bwana Sam. Go ahead also.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today as well. Happy 4th of July to everybody across the United States and all patriots in the United States. It's a pleasure to engage, especially when it comes to these matters of our beloved country, Kenya, especially for us here in diaspora. We want to make sure that we enlighten everybody, and with I believe 36 days to go, or 35 days, some around there, which is August 9th, we want everybody to be informed. So it's a pleasure to have Mr. Ndole here, and we able to discuss these issues, as well as you, Mr. Kivuato. And we thank you for bringing this platform to all Kenyans, so we can be able to be educated and know what we're doing when we get to the polls.
Thank you very much. So before we start the discussion, let me let's get, in Kenya they call it, let's get an advert from the Wafadhili. Thank you very much, guys.
My name is Paris Mora. I learned about diaspora care when I went to the US to visit my son. And he has been making arrangements that I get the drugs through diaspora care. I don't go looking for the medication. I actually get the medication refill right at my door, and the payment is done from where he is. And I appreciate the system so much. I'm asking sons and daughters to join the diaspora care so that they keep on helping their parents who are aged at home to get their medications, because it is better than sending the parents money. Sometimes the money gets lost. Sometimes they can't get money, drugs in the chemists. And so they keep on struggling. But when you join the diaspora care, you are assured that the medication is it's given right at the door. I appreciate the diaspora care so much because earlier on I used to get my supplies, and when I miss one drug, I would look for it in other chemists, in other pharmacies. But these days with diaspora care, I'm so comfortable that diaspora care pharmacies, they know when to get my refill and they deliver it right at my door.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now let's start our discussion. Bwana Sam.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that whatever is contained in Kenya Kwanza Manifesto is a real deal for Kenyans? And if so, why do you think it to be so?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kibwatan. That's a very good question, actually, that majority of Kenyans right now are asking. We've seen a lot of manifestos there before. We've seen, political parties and people running come up with manifestos. Those who get elected, see how those manifestos have they been, did they work on what they promised to do or not? So what we did in Kenya Kwanza, and what is very different from the Azimio Manifesto, is ours is people-led. And what do I mean by people-led? It means that we went to every county, we went to every community and talked to the people and asked them, what is it that you really need? And every county is so different, and at the same time, we're also very similar. And what I mean by that is every county has its own economic agendas, right? As well as there's a whole economic agenda is a holistic view of the whole country. And so we sat down and we said, we want to come up with that manifesto that's people-led. And not only just come and tell people, this is what we want to do for you. This is what you told us you want done. But how do you do it? So the how, and you'll bear witness with me when you look at the two manifestos, especially. I'm putting the third manifesto of Wajakoya on the side a little bit. We'll discuss that maybe another day or later on. But when you look at the Azimio manifesto and you look at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, they're day and night, right? Very clearly, very different. One, what we are assuring Kenyans is this is how we're going to do it. So the how is what actually makes our manifesto better, and that's what gives us hope that this will be implemented once we gain power on August 9.
What's your take, Bwana Ndole?
Well, I think the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, first of all, is very long. It was a detailed plan. I mean, you know what they say, when you want to hide something, you write a long passage. I mean, the issues they put in those things, I mean, you say they are people-led. The Azimio one was also led by people. It was not led by aliens. So all the manifestos are people-led. And before Raila, the Honorable Raila Odinga declared himself, was declared to be the Azimio flag bearer in December in Kasarani, he actually presented, a meeting with all the 47 counties, actually regions in Kenya, where he met with people. And they had videos from every region where he was meeting with people who are actually telling them what they want. And those are the things that form the basis of the Azimio manifesto. We have to be careful here. A manifesto is not necessarily the length of the details of what you write in it. Okay? You cannot even actualize those things sometimes because you're not in the government. A manifesto is a vision. A manifesto is a vision. What was written by Kenya Kwanza is something that we've never seen before. Okay? They just had to come up with something different so that they say, oh yeah, you see, we have more details than they have. Okay? But let me just say this so that we can start understanding from the onset of this conversation. William Ruto disqualified himself from becoming the president of Kenya using that manifesto by not making corruption the center of what he's going to do to revive the Kenyan economy. He practically shot himself on the foot with that. So the Azimio, the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, yes, it's long, yes, it's detailed, yes, it has all these things that they have in there, which is really unnecessary because nobody's going to read all that. Okay? But you have to address issues at the core. What is the core issue in the Kenyan society? What is making Kenya a difficult country to run? Corruption is the reason why Kenya is having so much problems. Corruption is the reason why many of us in the diaspora are hesitant to invest in Kenya. So if he cannot bring himself to address that, then we have a problem. He has disqualified himself.
What do you mean by William Ruto has disqualified himself? Bwana Sam, can you come and demystify that?
Yes. So let's start from the beginning. We saw how every side listened to the people and collected the views of the people. When Raila was visiting all these counties that he's talking about, he was popularizing himself, saying, "I'm thinking about running. Should I run or should I not run?" It was not about what do the people really need and what are they suffering? What do they actually want to see their government do? Let's make that very clear. Raila was says, I have not really decided if I'm running or not. So it was more of a building up curiosity and anxiety in the country about Raila running. Because, number one, we hit the road running a long time ago. And it's true, since the handshake, when they kicked the deputy president out, we were out there telling the people this is what needs to be done. This is how we need to complete the journey that we started in 2013. So coming back to the manifesto, there's been a lot of complaints about, the manifesto for Kenya Kwanza is long and detailed and all that. Mind you, nowadays in Kenya, we need the details, especially when it comes to finances, right? We are talking about money here. Billions are being thrown here from both sides. Where are we getting this money from? How is the government going to be able to fund these things if at the moment in Kenya, Unga is at 230. They brought it down to 228, but it's still 230. According to my math, right? From in 2018, when Unga was around what, $75, 75 Kenyan shillings. So look at that. People are suffering. So we want to tell them that, number one, there's freedom that's coming on August 9th. And once Kenya Kwanza takes the government, these are the things we're going to do for you, because you have told us these are the things that matter. But how are we going to do them? We want to be very practical with the Kenyan people, because since independence up to now, there are a lot of things that have not been realized that were promised during independence time, right? So we want to tell the Kenyans, this is what we want to do, and this is how we're going to do it. This is where we want the Kenyans to help. This is where the government can help. This is where we need our investors to help. And that is why we called it not just a manifesto, but we call it the plan. This is the plan that we listened to the people. We came up with this plan and told the people, this is how we're going to finance it. This is how we're going to do the things that you've asked us to do. So for the 5 years, this manifesto not only works as just as a manifesto, but it's also a contract with the Kenyan people. It's a contract that once we get in office, once you give us the mandate to get in office, these are the things that we do. And after 5 years, come and judge us by the things that we've said we're going to do, because they're very practical. We've seen, even before, I was in Jubilee. I supported Jubilee through. We had a manifesto in Jubilee that we realized majority of the things. Some of them we didn't realize. But when we were getting there, we had not really planned on the how of doing things. And that's what's lacking. I look at the manifesto for Azimio. Yes, it's very colorful, short, 44 pages, I believe. But when you look at that compared to the 66 pages which you're talking about for the manifesto for Kenya Kwanza, it lacks the how. It's everything that we shall do this for you, we shall do this for you. But how are you going to do it for us?
Bwana Ndole.
Yeah, so
let me
jump in there. First of all, let me correct you, because you're saying that Raila just went in on a meet and greet and asked people, oh, should I run or should I not run? No, that's not the case. There were two things that were happening there. He went to ask if he should run, and they all said, yes, you should run. We are going to endorse you. We're going to support you. And then, what do you need for me to do for you? It was a two-pronged approach. It was not just, hey, I'm thinking, I'm not thinking. No, it's not that. Okay? And then going back to the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. The Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, okay, is coming up with these billions of dollars, billions upon billions of dollars, billions for this, billions for that. Every time the deputy president was talking, he was throwing a billion, 50 billion here, 50 billion there. But he has this bucket, which has a giant hole called corruption, which is leaking $600 billion every year, more than that. $600 billion is about 6% of the Kenyan GDP. He does not address that giant hole. If you cannot address that, then you cannot.
That's
you
not
cannot
true.
say that you're ready to lead Kenya. Look, listen,
that is not true.
Let me finish. You get your opportunity. I didn't interrupt you. You get your opportunity.
Yes.
Let me tell you what corruption does to Kenya. Corruption makes the diaspora stay away from investing in Kenya. The diaspora sends home money in remittances, which is less than 5% of our earning. We still have 95% left in our pocket, which we can actually bump up to get to 20%. At the moment, we are only sending $3 billion, which is about $3.8 billion, which is about, we can round it off to 400 billion shillings a year. That is just 5%. Because of corruption, we are hesitant to jump in and dip in some more. So how are you going to incentivize people to actually support this economy, which we are very ready to do? Mr. Ruto does not, Dr. Ruto does not address that giant question. That's a problem.
Let me
let him finish.
Let me add one more point.
Let him finish.
Corruption is where a student goes to apply for a college and is denied a position because somebody paid some money to get that position. Corruption is where Mama Mboga is trying to sell his wares, and a city council askari comes and kicks their wares, okay, because she did not pay a bribe. You cannot credibly say that you're going to revive the Kenyan economy without building confidence in that economy. He disqualified himself with that manifesto, and he was reminded by Hussein came over there, wewe ongea kuhusu corruption. Ongea kuhusu corruption 3 times, and he asked me
so let me address this issue before we even get far. Before Mr. Ndole takes his way astray of what happened for Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. Number one, the deputy president has addressed corruption day in, day out on every meeting.
In the
manifesto is there. Even in the manifesto is there. What we've said is we want to empower the institutions that have been there constitutionally for them to do for them to perform. And that is the only way we can root out corruption, when we detach, for example, the judiciary from getting instructions, especially when it comes to being empowered with the finances, for them to have their own budget, to run their own budget, whereby they don't have to run to the office of the president every time and beg for money. We are telling them, hold on, you have an independent budget. This is your budget. It's already done. The presidency should not come in for them to be able to, you have to come and beg for money. Okay. EACC, you have to come back to the office of the president for you to beg for money for funding. We're saying, no, your money should always be allocated. You're an independent institution. Go ahead and do your mandate. And this is the problem that we have in Kenya, where corruption comes in, is we politicize these institutions and we say, we're going to use these institutions, for example, the DCI, to go after people for political reasons. And when we do that, that's where corruption kicks in, because we know the rule of law is not going to get applied to everybody accordingly. The deputy president spoke very well. He even gave an example of Korea, where the president was jailed. And he said the key thing in Kenya we want, if a president is corrupt, you can face the rule of law. You can be jailed. So we did address that. So when the other side comes out and says we're not addressing corruption, and then the other thing, and I've repeated this on your show several times, we are empowering people, because when people are empowered and they have money in their pockets, it's also easy to root out corruption. What makes corruption rampant in Kenya? Let's go to the one down there. Is because I don't have a choice. I have to be bribed, number one, to elect somebody in office, because we start with the leaders, right? When we have corrupt leaders, corruption will still be rampant in Kenya. But how we will end that corruption is if we have empowered the Mama Mboga that he's talking about, Mama Mboga has money in her pocket, and a filthy politician comes in and says, hey, I will buy your vote. Kura yako is only worth 500 Kenyan shillings, right? Oh, give me your vote, I give you this. And you try to decide, oh, I don't have unga for tonight for my kids. Should I let my kids starve, or should I just get this money so I can just not go to vote, or vote in somebody that I really know is not fit for office? So when we go back to the economics of Kenya and we empower people, and a good example is, for example, let's even look at United States. Yes, corruption is everywhere. We know there's a little corruption here and there, but people are very careful. Because, you know, when you get caught, there are consequences to that. And when we are going to, even for election, you don't see somebody coming to bribe you at when they're door knocking and telling you, hey, I'll give you $500, don't go and vote, or, you know, can we get you off the registry so that you're not voting? Once you empower the person and they have money in their pockets, they're able to decide for themselves clearly without any influence of poverty for the right leaders to be in office. Once we have the right leaders in office, everything else functions right. But before we even get there, because we are getting there, and we're saying this 5-year contract that we're getting, by the end of the 5-year contract, what we should have done is, number one, empowering these people. But before we get there, the key things is we have to isolate these independent institutions for them to have their own budget, for them to run their things right, for them to run things constitutionally, decriminalize using DCI and everything, like, oh, you're opposing the president, so we come arrest you on a Friday, release you on Monday, all these things, intimidation things. We put all those things aside to see our country go forward. The other thing I want to talk about too, real quick here, because he mentioned
30
this.
seconds, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. What we're looking in this, and in what we call the plan, we have 3 things that we have really clearly elaborated. Number 1 is prioritization. What is the priority once we get into in office, right? Number 2 is the sequencing of those things. For example, we know that not everything will be achieved within 100 days, for example. We have what we call the quick wins. For example, there are pending bills in Parliament that we need to work on for our country to continue moving forward. Those are what we call the quick wins within like 6 months. Things like dairy farming that can be changed real quick for that. Then we have a short term, 6 to 18 months. What are things that we can do within those 6 to 18 months that we can make sure that are good? Cash crops, for example, we can make sure when we talk about the tea industry, the coffee industry, when it comes to rice farming, when it comes to fisheries, all those things can be done within that 6 to 18 months. And then we have a medium term. And that medium term is the one from 18 to 36 months. So we're talking about things like housing, for example. Can we achieve low-cost housing within those 3 years that we've been in power? And how do we achieve it? And then we go to the third thing, which is the long term, the 3 to 5 years. By the end of our term, what do we want to see that have been achieved? The rest of the things that have been achieved. Which actually, even talking about it, like the gender equality thing, they're saying, oh, we cannot achieve that. Those are things that we've put in place, and we know bills are pending in Parliament. We're going to get majority of members of Parliament and Senate. So we know these things are going to pass anyway. So we are ready to work day one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bwana Sam. Go ahead, Bwana. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bwana Ndole.
Let me speak without interruption. So thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to you for endorsing Pesa Mfukoni, by saying that we need to empower people to Mamboga to have money. Okay, thank you very much. You've endorsed Pesa Mfukoni. It makes sense. It's something that we need to do. So I don't understand what you mean by saying that. I mean, I read Dr. Ruto's the deputy president's forward in that manifesto, and the economy is the third priority. Okay. Is the third priority. His priority number 1 is dealing with the judiciary. Okay, the deputy president opposed the 2010 constitution. Okay, he's on record saying that we cannot change the constitution. In fact, he uses the word mutilate the constitution. Okay, but now he's out there suggesting that he's going to change the constitution, do this 50-50 thing for women, which is an afterthought. Okay. He's coming after women now. He messed up when he was choosing his deputy president. He chose Rigathi Gachagua, and now he messed up. Now he wants to come back because Azimio chose a woman, a powerful woman, a woman who's actually our own person. So he wants to make up for that and making all these crazy promises to women. Okay. In fact, one of those times it was funny because the lady over there at the prayer session where they were unveiling the women initiative even called them Kenya Kwisha in the prayer. Okay. And
That's a cheap shot.
to make matters worse, the people in the audience laughed. These are Kenya Kwanza supporters who this lady in the prayer calls them Kenya Kwisha, and then the audience, which is supposed to be supporters of Kenya Kwanza, laughed. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a real audience or if it was a paid audience, but that it just tells you just the women agenda is not there. You cannot just make promises. Okay, just let me just finish here. This is what the deputy president want women to believe. They want women to give them the vote, and then they're going to give them what they promised after they give them the vote. What kind of deal is that? After they give the vote, what leverage do they have? Zero. Azimio has actually put women in the steering wheel. The deputy president of Azimio is a woman of substance. Somebody with a track record, somebody with a history of fighting for justice, somebody who speaks about corruption in a cogent way that everybody can understand. Somebody who's respected worldwide. Okay, we have women over there. I mean, there's a meme out there. Let me just point this out. There's a meme of Kenya Kwanza women. There's one meme of Millicent Omanga that goes around of her dancing and Ruto laughing. Okay, that is how women are perceived in Kenya Kwanza. You have not.
So let's talk about substance.
In any positions of substance, you have only promised them. Whether you keep the promise or not, we don't know. But
so let me.
He has promised stadiums before. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt. You spoke for a very long time. You spoke for a very long time. I mean, Engineer Kibwato, you can attest.
Go ahead, Maurice.
30 seconds. He added more. So let me just go on. I'm gonna be concise. I'll just keep pointing out these inconsistencies in your manifesto and inconsistencies in the person who's presenting the manifesto. Okay. So this gentleman, okay, is promising women that nipatie kura yenyu alafu ndawapatia 50%. The 50% he wants to give them is going to need an election. So is William Ruto saying that in 2023 we're going to have an election?
Let me answer.
IBC going to call a new election so that we can get that 50%? So it's confusing. And let's go back to that manifesto again. You've talked about agriculture and all these other things. William Ruto does not propose any new things to build up the economy. Okay? Yeah, maybe he said that we need to diversify our tourism, bring adventures and stuff, make it more diverse. But it does not bring up anything new. It's still agriculture. Okay? It's still tourism. Okay, it's still all these things, same old ideas, no new ideas. Long manifesto, no new ideas. Okay, all these things that he's talking about. Okay, he's saying that, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. He's in the government now. Why can't he do it? Okay, he keeps blaming Raila that the handshake took away his ability to work. The handshake did not take away his ability to work. If the handshake took his ability to work, he should have quit. He's enjoying government.
Let me answer you. I think Ibuato, let's be.
He uses government.
Let him finish his point so that you can jump in.
Housing to campaign, which is actually unethical, if not unlawful. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
That is not part of the government when he's enjoying all these perks. William Ruto should take the blame for the price of unga. Because he was there. Okay, William Ruto should not take all the credit for the good stuff and then oh no, this is not me. Another thing, William Ruto has become a saboteur of Kenya. By him maintaining his place in that office as the deputy president and not doing the job, he is actually undermining Kenya. So he cannot come in, have it both ways. I'm not in the government and I'm in the government. Okay? Up to you. Over to
Thank
you,
you.
Engineer.
Thank you.
Kibuat.
Thank you.
So
Bwana Sam, yeah, have like a 1
yes.
minute rebuttal, then we will continue with the
No.
discussion. We go
I
to a
think
different topic.
it's fair. You give me sufficient time to answer everything that he talked about. Okay, it's just fair because even the last segment, at the time you can compare between the two. But it's only fair that we do that so every Kenyan can understand this fact very well. Let's start with the women issue, right? Let's start with the women issue, and the first thing we're going to start with is way back in each political party when we are even going for nomination. We want to see how many people were interested on each side. For example, their side, when it came to nomination, how many men, women, and youth were there for nomination on their side versus our side. People have resonated with Kenya Kwanza, UDA, because of how we treat women and the promise that we have for women. Number two, let's go to the women charter that was formed. Yes, it says, we have a deputy president who's a woman. I credit Mother Karua for all that she has done. She has done a lot for our country. She's a stateswoman. She, she fought for human rights, for the Constitution, which I'll also address that because he mentioned that too as well. But also, this is the same person who said that Raila should go home with Kibaki. That under no circumstance can she ever work with Raila or any of Raila's policies. That's on record. And you cannot run away from your record. The same way they're saying we should not run away from our record, you can run away from your record. The other thing too, putting a woman at the top of the ticket, yes, it's good for the women, it's good for the country, but it does not address the issue of women agenda in the country because we know how deputy presidents have been treated in Kenya. And worst of all, their chairman of the Council of Azimio is Uhuru Kenyatta. We saw what Uhuru Kenyatta did to the deputy president. So how are we not sure that this one woman who has been given this key position up here is gonna be mistreated? If we follow the Constitution, what are the duties of the deputy president, right? To deputy the president, and any assignments assigned by the president that they should do those assignments. Okay, what we have done in Kenya Kwanza, number one, the Deputy President Ruto has said, when I get to office, among the first things that I will do, I'll give an executive order for the duties of the Deputy President. For the Deputy President to know, these are your duties, this is what I'm going to assign you for the whole term, and other duties as we go. So we know the role of the Deputy President. That is where our Constitution is a little bit gray, and we want to do that. When you look at the governors that are running on Kenya Kwanza, majority of them have come up with a similar thing, that I will have designated roles for my Deputy President, because we don't want to see anywhere else in the world whereby you're an opposition leader, you come in bed with the ruling, with the president, and then there's no opposition, there's nothing in the country is just in disarray, or you throw your deputy president on the side. Mind you, this deputy president was elected with you. Both of you are given mandate by the Kenyan people, and it's until the Kenyan people come and say, we do not want you in office, then they can take that mandate from the deputy president. So saying the deputy president should resign, the Kenyan people, we gave him the mandate. So until we go back to the millions of Kenyans who said, we don't want you to have that mandate, mind you, he is still the deputy president, even if you don't assign him those duties, right? The duties went to Raila. We know Raila became the co-president, the defunct co-president. But not only that, when we come to women issues, then we're saying we need the 2/3 gender rule, established, and it's been 10 years since our constitution, and nothing has been done. What we're saying is this: once we get in power, the first 6 months and to 12 months to 18 months, we want a framework put in place, a framework where we know this is how the government is going to go about to realize the 2/3 gender rule. And that's what we have said. The other thing we have also said is, in the cabinet, the Kenya Kwanza cabinet, 50% of the ministries and key ministries, not just a ministry, key ministries are going to go to women. Why are we saying that? It's because when we are running the day-to-day Kenya, these are the ministries that matter to people. These are the ministers are the ones who make Kenyan people realize their dreams or not. Yes, you can be a deputy president at the top there, but mind you, if you have a president who's in bed with a president who was despising his deputy president, how are you even going to work? And that's their chairman of their council. He's the one who calls the shot for the Azimio. He's the one who's going to be able to. Actually, Uhuru Kenyatta will be ruling Kenya indirectly because as a chairman, he can bring things forth for the party. He can be able to rally the parliamentarians and everything for whatever he wants passed. Okay, so that's one. So that's on the women agenda. Now, let me finish. I'm going to address everything that you talked about. He talked about the deputy president.
Yep, that's true.
We cannot compare the time, but let me address the deputy president that he was opposing the constitution. Yes, he was on the no camp, and because there are things that he thought in the constitution needs to be included, and for there to be a good constitution. In Kenya, we have democracy. It doesn't mean the people who are going to vote for Raila and then Ruto becomes president that they are no longer Kenyans. Okay, we have a democracy where majority rules. So the constitution referendum came, it did pass that we had a new constitution. What do you do as a good citizen? You go ahead and support what has been passed in your country and you try to make it better. What we're talking about mutilating the constitution, we are saying we cannot go and undermine some institutions and use them against people while the constitution is still there. We cannot bring BBI and start doing things and changing the constitution unconstitutionally. If we need to change the constitution, follow the legal process that's there. We're not saying don't change the constitution. Any Kenyan who wants, apart from the president who wants to change the constitution, you can follow different rules to come and change the constitution. And it's allowed. It's allowed. We can change the constitution. We can amend the constitution. We're not saying you can do that, but do it constitutionally. Don't just come and mutilate it and be like, oh, now we are appointing all these things just for our interest so that Kenyatta can never retire, Kenyatta can always be there. No. And when we talk about corruption, my friend, when we talk about corruption, look at the Kenyatta family. Let's even start with Pandora Papers. Look at the Kenyatta family. This is the head of Azimio that we're talking about. Okay? Azimio is surrounding itself with a corrupt president. And I'm sorry to say, yes, we did campaign for him to get voted. But after the handshake, the president changed. Look at where our country is at right now. When we talk about 2013 to 2017 and 2017 to now, look at the tangible things so that we can see that were done during then. When we talked about the Big Four, during 2017, that was going to be the manifesto and the plan that was coming in. Has Uhuru realized the Big Four? Why? Because of the handshake.
Thank you.
Because when you got in bed with the opposition, let me finish this point. We want to make sure.
Yes.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes. Just give me 10 seconds. We want to make sure that Kenyans, we are not blinded by just words, but we want to see the plan and what actions are we going to take. So we are very well articulated about corruption. We're very well articulated about what we're going to do in the first 6 months, the first 18 months, the first 36 months, and the first 5 years. And with that, I believe Kenya will be so far ahead. And him talking about the billions that he was talking about, everything that we've talked about is paid for. And how is it paid for? For example, if we're importing right now 90 billion of oil, cooking oil, right? We can be able to grow that, and within 18 months, we can be able to slash that from 90 billion to 45 billion. Now we have another 45 billion, we can inject it into the Hustlers Fund. So let's talk about how things are getting paid, because in our plan, our manifesto has clearly stated where is the money coming from, and we're cutting that borrowing.
Thank you. Bwana because there's a question I need to ask you guys. So, Bwana Ndole, your reaction, please, before we move on.
Yeah, first of all, let me correct the record. President Uhuru Kenyatta is not running for president. The Azimio ticket is Martha Karua and Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua. Those are the two people who are running. So I don't know where Mr. Herrera is getting the idea that Uhuru is controlling
things.
The
chairman of the Azimio Council.
Let me finish. The fact the Kenya Kwanza people are jealous that they don't have Uhuru support. So they're doing everything in their power to make sure that they paint it as if, he's going over there to do some remote controlling. Okay? The reality is the president has seen that his deputy is unfit to run the country. And he has told Kenya that this guy should not run the country. And that is
after running with him for 2 years,
that's
for 2 terms.
Problem. Look, Raila has said many times. You've said yourself that he was bound by it. You said that he was the constitution forced Uhuru to stay with Ruto. Okay, I mean, he could, if he had a choice, he could have thrown him on the side. Okay, the guy is sabotaging the
Let's
government.
go.
The reason why the government is not working is not because of the handshake. The government is not
It,
working
it is.
because there's people in the government sabotaging
It
the
is
government.
because
And the person,
and Uhuru.
no, I mean, when I
No, no,
really,
no, no. Uhuru is the
I don't speak,
CEO. You cannot say he's not working and is your
I don't speak
chairman
over you.
of Azimio. Yet he's also the CEO of the
Help me out
country.
over here. This guy is speaking over me. Okay, because I'm telling the truth. The truth is, Mr. Ruto is the deputy president of Kenya. Period. He lives in a government house. He has 257 security people that the government pays for. He does campaigns, meetings in a government thing where he charges the taxpayer. He cannot claim that he's not part of the government. Stop this nonsense about the handshake, that the handshake
So
did this, the handshake did that. The handshake did not
let's
stop Ruto from working. He stopped working because he's
let's
lazy and because he's very ambitious.
Give
In
Ndole
no,
fact,
no,
time.
no.
Ruto
Let's
is
talk
the
the
Give
truth.
Ndole time. Give Ndole time,
he's the
please.
most public
Yep.
ghost worker we have in Kenya. He's a ghost worker. So we need to stop blaming Raila for his failures. He has failed as a deputy president, and we should not say that the same thing is going to happen to Martha Karua. Martha Karua has a history. Ruto has never done anything for Kenya. Name one thing that Ruto has done for Kenya that is not selfish. One thing
Look
that
look
we
at
can
how
track.
number one he changed it. Okay. I can name one thing as we go. Number one, look at our
Yeah,
higher
name it.
education. When he was the minister of higher education, what did he do? Where are we today with that? And not only that, let me go
What did
back
he
to
do?
this
Tell me.
issue
Tell me what
about
he did. What
let
he
me
did.
go back let me go back to this issue about the deputy president that he's using government resources and all that. Mind you, number one, his budget has been slashed by 68%. The budget of the deputy
He's
president.
not
There are
working.
people
Why
in the
should he
deputy
have a
president
budget? Why
office. Oh, no,
it should
no,
be
no,
zero?
let's go step by step. Let's go step by step. There are people in the deputy president office that have not been paid for months and months that they're still owed by the government, right? That they are constitutionally there. The office of the deputy president is there constitutional. The money that is supposed to be allocated to that office has not been allocated to that office. Name one thing that Uhuru has told Ruto to do that Ruto has not done. He has said, my president, every duty that was assigned to him by the president, he has done it. Name one thing that Uhuru has mandated the deputy president to do and he has not done, which is per the constitution.
I can interject that on that one, Bwana Sam. The president has actually complained about Ruto so much, and he said that whatever he wanted him to accomplish, he never did it. Whatever Ruto is actually making the noise is actually making out there, that is going to do, and especially even the president himself was trashing the manifesto by the Kenya Kwanza people. So that one we can ask the president. It's the president's prerogative to tell us the truth. Yeah, go ahead.
The president has not come out and told us, I assigned Ruto this, because Ruto has even challenged that. He has said, I just need to know every duty that was assigned to me,
sure?
I completed that duty.
Are you sure?
He's on record.
Let's go back
yes,
now. Let me systematically take you guys from 2013 to 2017, when when Raila was not actually anywhere in play in Uhuruto government. Which achievement did they do actually accomplish?
Like, look at infrastructure, look at electrification, look at SGR.
Infrastructure. You are talking about infrastructure with things which were actually done by
Kibaki
and Raila.
Look at the roads that were done. No. The roads that were completed. No. The roads that have been completed during the first term of Uhuru.
The roads were completed. What about the second time?
The second term is where the wheels fell off the bus. Let's begin with that.
In the second term, roads have not been completed, or
they have been. But listen, what I'm saying, we're not saying second term things have not been done.
Yeah, that's what
you asked me about the first
analysis. You know, thousands of Kenyans are listening to us. Let's do a comparative analysis. Yeah, and let's tell them the truth.
Yes, look at the things that were accomplished during the first term.
Yes.
And look at the things that have been accomplished now. We're not saying that things that have not been accomplished.
Yes.
There are things that have been accomplished. And actually the things that have been accomplished were things that were earmarked during the 2013-2017 era.
So
Okay?
why do people say that in second term things were not? Things were not accomplished. It's only during the first.
No. Listen,
Yeah.
Kiwato, we are
Yes.
saying this. The things that were accomplished in 2013, 2017, you cannot compare the magnitude of those things versus the things that have been accomplished. Look even at the cost of living during that time and during this time. Look at the debt that was inherited and the debt that they accrued during 2013, the
So
percentage of that debt, and the percentage of...
Let me put you right. Let me put you right. Let me put you right, my brother. In 2012, when Kibaki was leaving office, we didn't have a huge sum or debt. But from 2013 to 2017, we started accruing debt. You understand that, Bwana Ireri? So let's be objective. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What was the debt? The debt.
Not only that.
Let Ireri complete his.
We're saying this. Debt was accrued during that time. And during that time, we're thinking that's a lot of debt. Okay? And the debt that has been accrued from 2017 to now, you cannot compare that debt to what was accrued then. Okay? Right now, mind you, look at the things that have been accomplished. For example, there's one example that we even give, the making of the bullets and manufacturing of guns. How many billions got into that, and how many jobs got achieved at that? Right? We're talking about common sense things. When Uhuru was being re-elected, they had the Big Four agenda. Right? Housing was actually among the top. Has housing been realized? Low-cost housing, has that been realized? No, it hasn't. The plan was there.
What's the reason behind that?
The biggest reason is majority of money was also spent during BBI, and BBI came to a stop.
How much was spent during BBI? Let's do.
And that's what we have gone to court to demand that to be disclosed.
Don't just throw figures out there. I mean, BBI, it was 2 billion.
We are going to talk about it. Let's go to the port of Mombasa, for example.
2 billion could curtail the achievements of
No, we are just saying that's money. Yes. That's money that can be put somewhere to achieve something else. Do you see? So all we are saying, and let's bear witness of the truth. Sometimes truth hurts.
No.
Okay, truth hurts.
We want to tell Kenyans truth. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, I do regret that in 2017 we voted Jubilee back in again because of one thing. If we knew this is how the president is going to act, this is how the president is going to come back and run government. We ran, Uhuru just the other day, he just called a cabinet meeting. He ran government for 2 years without cabinet meetings, not knowing the status of Kenya, where Kenya stands.
Is that true, Bwana
Those are rumors.
No, it is true. Did you see a cabinet meeting that was called? He ran for 19 months.
I've been quiet too long.
Okay. That did not get achieved.
Okay, let Bwanandole also come in. Yeah, let Bwanandole come in. Then you can ramp it up. Yes.
Mr. Reri is speaking a lot of rumors here. I mean, all these things and all,
you have to quantify whether it's rumors. Yeah, you have also to quantify whether they are rumors. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you part of the office? Have you been there to see if he has been assigned or not? So those are just speculative statements which really don't mean anything in this forum. Okay.
When there's a cabinet meeting.
Let me finish.
Let him finish.
I'm trying. Yep. I'm very respectful to your time. I don't speak when you're speaking. So, but Mr. Deputy President, okay, Mr. Deputy President has refused to do his job. Okay, he started campaigning the moment he walked in. There is a video of President Uhuru Kenyatta telling him to be patient. Okay, there are times when you have to be handed the baton. You don't just take it. Okay, so the whole idea that handshake came in and made everything worse is a lazy argument. He needs to stop that. He needs to mature up and take ownership that he has failed in his role as a deputy president, and he has also failed in his manifesto because he does not address corruption. You have to wonder why he does not address corruption. The reason he does not address corruption is because it points at him. He has been accused of many corrupt deals. His deputy is in court right now, okay, facing charges of corruption. He wants to change the constitution. He wants to control the judiciary, pretending he's going to make them independent so that he can kind of scatter those cases. I mean, how can you say the judiciary is not independent when the judiciary ruled against the BBI? The BBI was supported by the president. If the president was controlling the court, how did they rule against him? So let's talk with these nonsensical arguments that, oh, suddenly this guy is a victim, kulialia kila saa. Okay? The plan that he has presented does not expand the economy. It does not bring in new money. It rehashes what you've already done. We've been there, seen it, done it, no results. The deputy president is the deputy president. His title is the deputy president. If he cannot do the job, he needs to quit. Or he should take the blame for what is going on. Another thing that Mr. Herreri has said, the cost of living has gone up. Mr. Herreri is trying to ignore the fact that the cost of living has gone up even in the United States. Is Uhuru responsible for the high cost of living in California? Is Uhuru responsible for the high cost of living in Europe? The cost of living has gone up because of multiple factors. COVID-19, okay, was a big thing. Okay,
the COVID billionaires. Yep.
After COVID-19, we had the war in Ukraine, which just suddenly happened. Okay, I saw Ruto in his argument in the manifesto, where he argued that, oh, what you want to say at Ukraine, if he cannot understand the geopolitics and how they impact Kenya, he has no right to become the president of Kenya. You have to understand how the geopolitics of things affect your country. Ukraine has affected, the war in Ukraine and Russia has affected the global oil supply chains. Okay? And when oil is expensive, commodities become expensive. Okay? Inflation is affecting every part of the world. It's not just Kenya. So instead of bringing solutions, he's taking advantage of it. He's taking advantage of it, which is a lazy way of doing things. Okay? He has found a way of just blaming Raila for everything. And Mark, I asked you a question. What has Ruto achieved in his entire political career? I can tell you what Martha Karua and what Raila Odinga have achieved and contributed to Kenya. Okay? Some of the things that Raila and Martha Karua have achieved for Kenyans in a lot of peril, where Raila was even detained, the longest detainee in history. It's part of the time he was detained when Ruto was busy over there helping the Moi government to detain him. Okay? He has not done anything. He just wants a promotion. You don't get a promotion for doing a bad job. He needs to not be elected. Kenyans would be making a big mistake.
Thank you.
To elect this man who has proven that he cannot do the job that he was given.
Thank you, Bwana Ndole. We have like 2 minutes before we finish. So, Bwana Herreri, please, a 30-second rebuttal. Then we have a last question, and people asking several questions, but we don't really have time for you guys to answer the question. Please go ahead.
Exactly. And I wish we could have even gone step by step with each manifesto and see exactly how they were. And that's why with the Azimio people, they don't want to talk about the details of the manifesto. They don't want to talk about the details of their own.
We'll do that another day. This is the start. Yeah. You guys decided to go to each other's jugular. I didn't actually. I wanted us to go procedurally, but you decided to do that. It's not my fault.
No, Mr. Ndole has become my very good friend. But the unfortunate thing is they're not talking about it. Sometimes, truth hurts, and they don't want to talk about the truth sometimes. Because he's asking very good question. That the deputy president needs to resign. I've asked him, what has the deputy president not done that he was supposed to do? That question has not been answered. Okay, it's very simple. It's like you're saying, oh, he should not be in office. He's not doing anything. He's just taking government money, government housing, all these things. What is his duty that he has not done or accomplished as the deputy president? That question has not been answered. Okay. Number two, let's talk about this corruption, because he wants to attach the name of the deputy president with corruption. Okay. Mind you, the buck stops with the president. If this has been a corrupt government, if people have had corruption, it stops, the buck stops at the president's door. Okay. As a CEO, he's been in corporate America. I've been in corporate America. Mr. Mori in corporate America. We know every fall that happens comes to the doorstep of the president. This is the president that they said, oh, okay, now Jubilee government has failed and everything. Yet he becomes the chairman of the Azimio Council, which determines everything that's going to happen to Azimio. We saw the other day the president calls a meeting for Azimio Council, and then he runs away and then lets Raila run it just for show of it. But when we come to the question of them being in bed with the president, they want to disparage the deputy president, say the deputy president is this, but they don't want the president to accept the fault of his government because he's in bed with the Azimio guys. So you cannot say Raila, yes, will be president and all that. And we also have a council here that's determining what's going to happen within the party, right? Because he's the chair of the party. If Azimio did not have Uhuru, let Uhuru support Azimio, okay? And we can say it's his democratic right to support whoever he feels like he can do that. That's okay. But when you incorporate him now to be the core of Azimio, and then you want to come out here and say the fault of all the government is the deputy president, it can't work that, my friend. My friend, the deputy president is the deputy. He reports to the president. If let's even go to this. If the president was not satisfied with the deputy president, okay, there are mechanism he could have used. For example, impeachment is one of them. Jubilee had majority people in parliament. Actually, even if it could have not passed, but we could have seen the president initiate that and say, guess what? I've given the deputy president A, B, C, D for him to do. He has refused to do it according to the constitution. Impeach him. There are processes in the constitution of how to remove the deputy president and the president. They didn't do that because the deputy president is on record asking, if I did not perform my duty, tell me one duty that you gave me that I did not perform. Okay?
Thank you.
Corruption.
Thank you.
He's talking about corruption and judiciary. This is my last point. Corruption and judiciary.
Yes.
We have processes, and our judiciary has come from afar. We are not saying that we are not acknowledging what the judiciary has done. It has come from for them to come and nullify an election, for them to come and put BBI to stop this reggae thing. It's been a tremendous achievement. But we are not there because the judiciary is still being held by the remote control of money, right? We will release these funds. We will not release. We want you to come and beg for the money for you to run the judiciary and all that. And even appointment of judges, surely. You know, it's been there. Yes, they went to court. We are still waiting for that ruling. But even if you look at it at the face value, man, you can't say anything about that.
Thank you.
It's very clear. It's very clear that Kenya Kwanza wants to change the judiciary. That's the priority number one. Priority number two. They talk about
no. We want to make it independent where they're not borrowing money. Get me clear. Do not twist my words, Mr. Ndole.
I'm not twisting your words. I'm just,
no, we are not changing judiciary. And no. Just 1 second, Mr. Ndole. I will give you all the time, but I want you not to twist my words.
Please make
we
it
are not changing judiciary.
Give him also time. Give him time, please. Give him time.
I'll give him time, but he needs to say what I said. I did not say we changing the. I just say the independence of it.
Let him finish, please. Bwana Ndole, go ahead.
No. Okay. If you read the manifesto, the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, and I'm trying to find it on my computer here.
If you read the Kenya Kwanza, I can read for you.
Okay.
No, we don't have. We don't really. Just quote some sections, please.
The part where I'm saying, where Ruto says, why I'm running for president, okay? It says, it is my firm conviction that, well, let me go to the part where it talks about, I intend when elected to empower the judiciary and the criminal justice system immediately as required by the Constitution. As your president, I want neither power to persecute or prosecute proponents. Okay, but then, okay, that is the priority that he's talking about.
How? Yeah.
When you go.
He just read it.
I just read it. I just read the part that he says. So, and then he goes to my third agenda. My third agenda is jobs. His first and second agenda is other things. He has no
No.
demand
Let's go to
face
that
the
judiciary.
economy.
Okay, guys,
He wants to deal with the
we'll continue with the
judiciary first.
discussion. We'll continue with the discussion.
Engineer,
Yes.
let me finish this point.
Yeah.
Because we cannot allow this guy who's having cases left and right. We have Mr. Muteshi who had a judgment against him where he took his land,
Now,
and Ruto was found and he
did the
was told to
judgment go
pay
through?
that guy. Okay, the
Did
judgment was
that
made
happen?
and it was
And that's why we
it
want
happened.
that independence.
The independence of the judiciary is guaranteed. It happened. I mean, it needs to improve. Nothing is perfect. But the judiciary nullified the 2017 election, the codes. What are you talking about? Why
We're
is
talking about
jobs
their
the third
finances, their
priority?
time. We're talking
Why
about
is
judges
jobs?
that have not been appointed for so long. That's what we're talking about.
The judges are going to be appointed. That's for Uhuru. He needs to address that with Uhuru. That's not Raila's thing.
He's your Azimio
Okay?
chairman.
Not the
Raila,
president. I've never had.
Uhuru running for
Don't
president.
misquote
Uhuru is
the
retiring.
president. He has never. We've never had where he's actually the chairman for Azimio. No, the chairman for Azimio
Yeah,
is Oparanya,
I don't know what
not
you're
the
talking
president.
about.
No.
I don't know.
My friend.
He's
So
retiring.
Yes. Yeah.
who
The chairman for Azimio is Oparanya, not the president. Please.
the chairman of the council of Azimio is President Uhuru.
So,
Not
Are you
the
saying he's
chairman,
not?
not the chairman of Azimio.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. There's a council and there's a chairman. Yeah.
If
The
Kenya
council.
Kwanza wants to campaign against Uhuru, they should go right ahead. Okay? Uhuru is a supporter of Azimio, and you are jealous. They are jealous because Uhuru ditched them and supported the Azimio. So because they're jealous, they're trying to paint him so bad. Okay?
No.
And then
Thank you, guys.
they want
So,
to come in
yeah.
and change the judiciary.
Guys,
Using
time.
all this colorful language.
Time.
Okay? And then
Time is
jobs
of essence right
number
now.
3.
Yes.
Jobs is number
Listen,
3 in your
listen.
priority.
All through.
Bwanandole, so the priorities, okay. I mean, the way they are. I mean, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can achieve number 4, and number 1 is on the way. So that is that really a problem?
It is no.
Not only that.
Usually,
Yeah.
What is
we
not
write in the
addressing?
manifesto. I'm
Yes.
a writer. I'm a
Yes.
writer.
Yes.
When you write the manifestos, and when you write important things,
Uh-huh.
you start with your most important point,
Yes.
and you keep going, and you keep going.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So these things are usually based on priorities, on what you think is more important.
Okay.
So changing the
So-
constitution or changing, getting to the judiciary somehow using this rosy language is more important to these guys than giving
No.
jobs to Mama Mboga.
Thank you.
Than giving jobs to.
There's a
youth,
question.
than giving
No.
jobs to
Okay,
those
there is
So-
a question. There is a question from. There is a question
We need
from.
to read our manifesto.
There is a video. There is a video I've been actually sent by one of our viewers. I need you guys to listen to it, and then have a few 30 seconds each from each of you, so that you can actually comment. Let's go ahead.
Kama muko na shida na Wakikuyu, hamuko na shida na Wakikuyu kuliko sisi wa Kalenjin. Tuko na shida kubwa zaidi. Sawa sawa? Lakini ikifika mahali unatofautisha maneno, unaweka maneno ya tofauti za kijamii kando, unatafuta serikali kwanza, kwa sababu ile serikali itakusaidia kutatua matatizo ulio nayo. Lakini kama tafuta serikali kwanza, kwa sababu tafuta serikali.
Okay, guys, a few seconds to comment on that. What the deputy president is talking about. Go ahead, Bwanandole.
Did we lose you?
You lose. You lost. Where is where is Bwana Sam? Sam, we lost you. We must have lost Bwana Sam. We must have lost Bwana Sam. So as we wait for him, Bwanandole, you can go ahead and have your comment.
Oh yeah, I lost the feed there for a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I think Bonaireri should react to that.
We've just lost him, so let's give him a few seconds to reconnect. We've just lost him. We've just lost him. Okay. Go ahead with the comments you are making before we wrap it up.
So that video is a damning video of, I don't know the context. I don't know what he was talking about previously, but that's a damning video of the deputy president. It means that his intentions to become president, he has ulterior motives to become president. When he says that ako na shida na Wakikuyu, what does that mean? Shida gani ako nao na Wakikuyu? And when he gets the presidency, what is he going to do? You have to ask yourself those questions. So that video illustrates that this man has ulterior motives. So the people of Mount Kenya should be very careful how they vote. Because if this guy is saying, unatafuta serikali kwanza, nikutatulie maneno yako, then it means he's going to use the instrumental powers to subject them. And we have seen this happen before, and we do not want a repeat of that. I don't want to say that he's intending to do something and all that because I don't know his heart. But that video is a damning video of a narrative that he has spoken about that has been captured and circulated around social media that needs an explanation. He needs to explain what he was talking about. What kind of a president is he going to be? Is he going to be the president for one group and subjecting other groups? Or is he going to be a unifier? So we need to discuss those things. And I wish Bonaireri was here to react to that.
He's coming back. He's coming back to react on that. Go ahead.
So, I mean, that video is a terrible video, is a very poor account. I don't know what you think about it as a person, as a Kenyan. But every time I see that video, I'm shocked at the blatant disregard and the blatant ethnic leaning ideology that he professes in there. So we have to be careful who we elect to be president. We need a president who is going to unify the country. We need a president who's never going to take us to where we were in 2007, 2008. Okay? And Ruto is not that person, at least not yet.
Bwana Sam, can you comment, please, if you can hear us? You're having a connection issue there, Bwana Sam. We can't hear you, Bwana Sam. You have a connection issue.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can see your picture, but we can't see your picture. We can hear your audio. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened when the video was playing. I got dropped or something. But I'm in, and I didn't hear majority of what Mr. Ndole said. But let me comment on that video. That video, the deputy president.
Bwana Sam, is it possible you enable your camera, please? Your camera is not on.
I believe it should be on.
Turned off. Yeah. Okay. Camera. Yeah. Now it's on.
Okay.
Camera turned off. Camera turned on. Okay. Can you please log in? Log back. Log off and then you log back, so that you can. You can. Yep. Yes, Bwana Ndole, you can hear exactly what Brother Sam is actually saying from his, perspective and putting things straight from the Kenya Kwanza. The point to ponder about here is that are these manifestos actually going to sort the Kenyan problems, or they are basically there to be seen, to be read, but they'll not be implemented? That is the problem, because since 2013 to 2017, we saw very nice manifestos, but they didn't sort Kenyans' problems. So that is why we are still having issues with this particular manifesto. So, yeah, Sam, now you are back. Perfect. Sam,
well, I think
let Sam.
Okay.
Sam, did you get
Can you hear me?
We can extend a few, like 2 minutes, so that you can listen. Did you listen to the video?
Hello.
Okay, sure.
You did listen to the
video?
video?
Yes, I listened to it and then I went off. I listened to part of it, but I've had the video before.
Yes.
Only I didn't hear what Mr. Ndole talked about it. But what I can say is this. According to that video, number one, the deputy president spoke the truth. That we had tensions in the country. We had tension between the Kikuyu, the Kalenjin communities, and all that. What he's saying is this. Number one, the way we can achieve peace in our country is when the government spearheads that peace. So when you're in government, it's easier for you to bring all the issues of all the communities and say, these are the issues that each community is facing with each other community. What can we do? Can we have, a cohesion? Can we have a mechanism and a framework of all we can all coexist in Kenya? In Kenya, mind you, we have 47 tribes. For example, I come from the Mbere tribe, which is a very minute tribe, but at least I always joke and say right now we are number 3 in power because of Muturi. But when you look at the way, when you look at that, it's an achievement. I would say from my community, I look at that as an achievement, whereby it's a minute community, but we are minorities, but we have been elevated. So government can come up with frameworks of how we can all coexist. The deputy president was not talking about the way they're trying to rubbish out here, like, oh, you know what, he just wants to get power and all that. No. The deputy president has come up with his agenda. Number one, part of even our manifesto here talks about the coexistence of everybody, right? When we went through all these 47 counties and the diaspora, the 48th county, we looked at things that, what is it that each community is able to achieve? And how can we all together have that framework and coexist and make Kenya best? Mind you, Kenya, we have a lot of potential. We have discussed a lot of things that, kind of draw us apart and all that. But those things cannot be achieved if that government, number one, does not recognize, yes, we have issues, we have tensions, and how do we do that? Like when we look at the Marakwet area, for example, right? The Laikipia area, the killings going on and everything, those are still things that are going on right now. And that's why we're saying we need to prioritize such security issues and see how do communities coexist.
Yeah,
understanding we have different
they have been in power for the last 10 years. They have not. They have not sorted those issues. Why?
Look at this. When we got into power, there are a lot of issues that were going on. For example, ICC was one of them. Just to mention a few.
ICC is completely. Let's not discuss about ICC. That is an isolated case.
I'm just trying to say when we got into power, the things that we were facing. Okay, when we were there, people walikuwa wanang'oa reli and all this, boycotting things and all that. There's a lot of things that we needed to.
When you entered power, people walikuwa wanang'oa reli, bwana Iredi.
Si watu walikuwa na boycott.
Kung'oa reli, waling'oa reli. In 2013,
we did have some issues in some instances and in some communities.
Where waling'oa reli in 2013?
2013, we did have some issues going on. Are you in different Kenya?
No,
when you say about Kung'wareli, kuna watu walienda wakaleta shida. Kuna watu walitupa mawe.
Yeah, but don't use those very strong words saying that
people,
in 2013,
no.
We have no, go ahead.
People boycotted even the economy of Kenya even went really bad because of the boycott.
That is not in 2013. The economy of Kenya actually had issues in 2017, my brother. That is when we had issues.
No, even 2013 we did have some issues going on. My point is this.
Yeah, your point.
Mr. Moyo, my point is this.
Yes.
We have to acknowledge the issues that exist among communities, especially communities that live among the same areas, right? Yes. There are those issues that are there.
But I've never been addressed. Yes, they have never been addressed. So you think right now they are going to be addressed?
That is why we have gone to each community. And if you look at Kenya Kwanza, and the people at the main table now of Kenya Kwanza, the face of Kenya is represented. The face of Kenya is represented.
Where?
And we did that.
In Kenya Kwanza?
We did that. Yes.
What about
the face of Kenya is represented?
So you want to
Azimio,
that in Azimio?
I'm talking about Kenya. No, I'm talking about Kenya Kwanza.
I'm part of Kenya Kwanza. Differentiate. I need you to differentiate the two. So we are seeing the face of Kenya here and here. Okay. Go ahead.
Please pay good attention to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
We did this intentionally. I'm speaking about Kenya Kwanza because I'm in Kenya Kwanza. So I'm speaking about the things that we have done to intentionally make sure that each community has a voice. So that's what I've done. I don't know about Azimio on that end, but I'm talking about our core, how Kenya Kwanza has been formed and how we do our things every day today. I'm not in Azimio for me to know what they do, but for us, we intentionally do that. So we ensure that each community can coexist. So that video, that propaganda out here, and when you see all the propaganda out here, it's because number one, they know the popularity of the deputy president. They're so scared about the election. The good thing is in a few days here, the election will be done. And we all want Kenya. The deputy president was the first one to even go on record and say, hey, nikishindwa, I will declare that, you know what, I lost the election. Let all Kenyans be peaceful. We are among the first who did that. Raila, that question had been hammered to him for a long time until they started now saying, yes, RCC tukishindwa, and then they bring, if it's fair and verifiable and all. Us is just simple. Tukishindwa election, tukishindwa.
Let me take you to task. So the deputy president has not said that the election might have some issues?
We did say, hold on, what we said is this: we need the election to be done well. And the frameworks that are there right now, yes, the frameworks that are there right now, we are very comfortable with it. We are very comfortable with the way the framework of IEBC, for example, is. We have no issues with IEBC. We don't have any issues. They're the ones with issues. Even you saw during the IEBC meeting, they're the ones who are bringing tribalism issues about, oh, so many people have been appointed from this community. Oh, whereas they were even told clearly, people have gone through merit. These people have been working in these offices for long. They are tenured employees. So us in Kenya Kwanza, we are very confident of the election.
Thank you.
We are confident with IEBC.
And
we know we're winning this election.
Sure. Let's listen to what Mr. Ndole says. You guys, we really go on overboard.
I don't think. When I read it, with all due respect, okay, that video is a damning video of one deputy president singling out one Kenyan community for retribution. Okay, it is one of those things that I'm shocked that is not being called by DCI and asked, hey, on top of your corruption cases, what are you talking about here? Okay, because that is not something nice to say, that unatafuta serikali kwanza, tuko na shida na Wakikuyu. What does that even mean? So you cannot diminish that. You cannot say that, oh, what he was talking about is this and that. That was bad. You have to denounce that in this broadcast. You have to say that that kind of language is unacceptable. If Raila talked like that and you presented that to me, I would say that is unacceptable. No ifs, buts, or even justifications, or even trying to gloss over it. Okay, so what is his motive to become president? Okay, that video shows that he's a figure. If he becomes president, he's going to target certain communities. That's a problem. We should not allow somebody like that to rise to become a president, because he has demonstrated that he is a potential demagogue. So I don't know about you, but besides not talking about corruption in his manifesto, okay, in a meaningful way, despite being reminded multiple times, there is a hot mic in Likachi who say, like, you should talk about corruption. You should talk about corruption. He did not talk about corruption, which is a 600 billion shilling hole in Kenya's economy. That is more than the remittance money we send to Kenya. If it's more than tourism, the money we get in tourism. And it's actually escalating with all these billions that he's talking about giving out. How is he going to account on all that if he's corrupt? His government is full of corrupt people who have cases in court. We cannot trust this man, period.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you, guys.
Because he cannot be trusted, he should not be president.
Mr. Wary, I'm directing him. I'll give
you a minute to do your closing remark. And in that closing remarks, please, you make your comments, please. Reserve it that particular time. So, guys, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your debate. Though we've not actually touched key areas we wanted to discuss today, we'll probably continue with the discussion. And I really thank you very much for having an opportunity to come to the KDR TV show. So, in a 1 minute closing shot from your end, let's start with Bwana Ireri. Go ahead.
All right, I have my timer on, so that's good. Please. So all I'm going to say is the last point, let me use 5 seconds of my time. The last point that he talked about, I will direct him to my Facebook account. He can see the whole speech of the deputy president when it comes to corruption. He did speak about it. We have those clips going around, because I just want to say that he did not speak to it. He did speak about corruption. In our manifesto, corruption has been addressed. It's been addressed when it comes to the judiciary, making sure that things are done right. The rule of law exists in Kenya. But my thing to Kenyans is, and my plea to Kenyans is, look at the two manifestos. See how each manifesto has been crafted, how things are going to get paid for, which manifesto is realistic, and choose a candidate that at the end of the day, you know that you'll be economically stable, you'll be economically independent. So that is what we're trying to achieve with the Kenya Kwanza government. We believe in Kenyans. We believe we collected these views from Kenyans all over the world. And those are views that have been reflected in our manifesto. And lastly, especially to the diaspora community that I'm speaking to, there is issues here even on our manifesto regarding diaspora that we have not talked about. We know of the creation of diaspora ministry, the government services that will be directed to diaspora, as well as the diaspora bonds that are coming for us, especially if we could have tackled the housing, how we want the housing paid for. So look at the manifesto, read it, and vote where you know that tomorrow you will be economically free. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bwana Thank you for the platform.
Welcome, Baba. Bwana Ndole.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you, Bonaireri. You've been a gentleman. I really appreciate having this moment to share with you and have this conversation. I believe the Azimio Manifesto is much more superior than the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. It addresses healthcare. It addresses water issues. It talks about taking kids to school. Okay, school fees is a big problem for parents. I mean, a lot of parents cannot. One of the biggest expenditure that they do is taking their kids to school. Azimio takes care of that in their manifesto. Azimio takes care of women empowerment. Okay, it takes care of Pesa Mfukoni, where they're going to give 6,000 shillings to the 2 million Kenyans who are very poor. That money will stimulate the economy. We need that money. Okay? When Ruto was speaking about that money, he dismissed it. He said that is money that is being wasted. We have Kenyans who cannot afford a single meal. And if you cannot afford a single meal, you're increasing child poverty. Azimio takes care of that in their manifesto. And there are other things that they are planning to do in 100 days that I cannot summarize in 1 minute. But the biggest thing that I have to say is we have Martha Karua and Raila Odinga in a ticket. These are reformists with a history. William Ruto does not have a history of reform. William Ruto is an ex-KANU, Youth for KANU guy. Okay, he rose from the ranks from Youth for KANU, and he has never, ever sacrificed for Kenya. Okay, no history. I challenge Direri to produce evidence that Ruto has ever done anything that is not selfish for Kenya, and he couldn't come up with anything. He started saying about the ministry of, I don't know which ministry that was, and he couldn't actually articulate what he has done. So we have to be very careful, Kenyans. Okay, do not vote for somebody who is out there painting a rosy picture. Somebody who has not shown you what he's going to do. He has put women in the back burner. And when Azimio selected a woman to be the deputy president, that's when he started rushing and doing all these things for women. In fact, he did one where this woman, pastor, started praying and called him Kenya Kwisha. Okay, that is just rushed. We cannot have women as an afterthought. Women are 51% of the Kenyan population. Okay, they should not be given things like it's a token. So Martha Karua is going to be the number 2. And all this speculation that Ireri is bringing on board, that, oh, she's going to be treated poorly like Ruto was treated. No, it's a different world. Ruto was a selfish person. He started campaigning the moment he landed there. He did not even wait. The whole thing that he has to wait to be assigned a job, he can perform goodwill. He's not even doing goodwill. He has become a saboteur in the Kenyan government. Ruto is the cause of all the problems we have in Kenya right now, because the government is not functioning at its full capacity. So let's not kid ourselves. Do not give somebody a promotion when he has done a bad job at his current deputy job. So Kenyans, please do not vote for this man. He has that video that you played is another illustration that this man has some ill motives about becoming the president. So he's not qualified. He has disqualified himself in the manifesto. He has cases that are going on in court. His people have cases that are going on in court. He wants to change the judiciary so that he can benefit himself. And we cannot allow that. You cannot say that the judiciary needs to be more independent when the judiciary has ruled against the BBI, which was supported by the president. Why would the president not stop it if he had the powers to stop it? You cannot say that the judiciary needs help when the judiciary actually nullified the election in 2017 that the president won. So those are red herrings that we know he's doing, and we cannot allow for that to continue. Yeah. Vote for a candidate who has shown a history. Raila is the one who delivered the 2010 constitution that Ruto opposed. Raila is the one who delivered the devolution that we enjoy in the counties.
Your time, please. Okay? Time, please.
So, to cut a long story short, Bwana, I wish you luck. Okay, Kenya Kwanza, your manifesto is just long. That's it. We give you credit for making the longest manifesto we've ever seen. But in substance and all those other things, yes, you can make all those things that you're going to do and all those other things, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't show us a history of doing it. Okay?
Thank you.
So guys. I want to say thank you to Bwana Kibwato as well for giving us this platform. And Bwana, thank you so much for spending this hour with me. It was a pleasure, and sure. I hope to do this again some other time.
I appreciate it too. I really appreciate it, but I'm just hoping next time, Mr. Kibwato, we have equal time. But I really appreciate Mr.
Dole. As per my timing, you actually took more time than Dole. That's all I can actually say. You took more time in explaining stuff.
Mr. Dole, thank you. I appreciate having being with you on. So
I appreciate your time.
And let's schedule some time for us to go through each manifesto point by point, which will be super good. Yes.
Perfectly.
Sounds good.
Guys.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
I thank you guys once again. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you. God bless. Bye.